And I run it. And I run it. And I run it. And I run it. Yes, I run it.
Yo, what's up, Jolly TV here? I'm here with my boy Custodio. What's up with you, man?
What's up, what's up?
Shit, how's your day been going?
It's been going pretty good.
What you been up to today?
Today, I was honestly just cooking up on some music earlier, and then got ready and got here.
So why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, a little introduction?
Well, my name is James Custodio. I go by J Custodio and everything. I started making music around, 2014, and I honestly started just recording on, Cubase, and I remember doing, a lot of covers for everything. And I didn't really take it seriously until I got with some homies in high school. We made a music group and everything, and we just kind of heard everything we were listening to on SoundCloud at the time. And back then, it was really all about, Suicide Boys, XXXTentacion, and everyone from, that underground scene. And we just kind of wanted to make something that, was similar to that, but, knowing that they were able to record off of their, Apple, computers and everything, the stuff that we had, it really inspired me to just take it a little more seriously.
So would you say the SoundCloud wave kind of, inspired you, in a way?
Yeah, it definitely did. Back to my early stuff, it's a little bit different now, but back then I used to make, a lot of, mosh making music and everything, really inspired by X, and it was such a huge, shift towards a couple of years ago where I just, kind of wanted to take it a little more seriously and be honest with myself when it came to the music.
So what kind of, made you want to, start doing music in the first place?
To be honest, it started off as, it was just fun. But the thing that I saw was a lot of people was always, giving me good feedback. And one of my songs that I did back in high school on SoundCloud, it hit 300,000 plays.
Yeah.
So that really kind of pushed me to keep going and maybe I could make something out of this,
So ever since you first started rapping, people have always fuck with you, your music?
Yeah, they've always mentioned to me that it's it's a little bit different than what they're used to, but it's they fuck with it, qualities are good and all that. Well,
yeah.
That's what I'd hope.
Yeah. So where do you kind of get your beats from? How do you come up with the beats that you use?
To be honest, the beats that I be using, I used to do a mix before of just getting them online and buying them. But once I started learning producing, I actually attended the LA recording school to learn better production. And I just kind of wanted to make my own beats because I wanted to make a sound that I think that not really everyone is not used to, but, I don't really hear it a lot of now. There's certain specific things that I like, certain melodies that I like, certain drum patterns, and it's cool to find a type beat online and everything. Don't get me wrong, that shit is dope. But at the end of the day, I really believe in that. You learning how to make it on your own really can develop your sound and can make you create something new.
So did going to LA music school kind of help you, or?
I want to say it helped me in the specific things, when it came to learning the DAWs and everything, but when it came to the creativity aspect, I really learned that's something that you as a person have to do on your own. You have to really understand your niche, your story, and be able to tell that in a proper way, in the right way.
So what kind of keeps you inspired to keep going on with music,
To be honest, my family back home in the Philippines, I have 4 sisters, and my mom is staying with one of them right now. And just kind of seeing what they're growing up right now compared to what I have, I have it really blessed. And, I still complain and, that's just me living in America. But, me wanting to make money for them is probably my priority.
So when did you come over here from?
I came over here when I was born, actually. I didn't even know that I had my family back there. I found out I was actually adopted just a few months ago.
So you grew up in the IE, or where did you kind of grow up at?
Yeah, I grew up in the Empire, raised in Rancho all my life.
What was that experience kind of, for you?
To be honest, IE, it's dope, don't get me wrong. There's certain, people that I meet down here that are, really creative and everything. And don't get me wrong, compared to LA and everything, it's completely different out here. It's not as, fast-paced, it's a little bit slower, not much going on. But I think there's some, things that I really fucked with. There's a lot of, house parties that I went to that I kind of put that all into my music in a way.
Yeah. So what's kind of, some, things you've noticed about the music scene over here? The
music scene over here, from what I've noticed, to be honest, it's got a lot of hidden talent. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people in here that they know how to make music. They're making shit that's just as good as, the shit that I be hearing from people elsewhere. But the issue that I've seen is there's not really any marketing here, you know, compared to LA, and there's not really, you know, too much going on to really, I don't know, like, you have some people claiming from the IE, you know, a couple people, but the overall, I think it's its own little unique type of scene in a way.
So do you feel like it's kind of hard to come up while you're here?
To be honest, yeah, it's hard to come up over here.
Yeah.
You know, there's not that many connections either. Everyone with the connections is all out in LA or other like nearby cities, even OC. But at the end of the day, too, that's what I feel like why I'm also doing this and everything. Like, I want to be able to, at the end of the day, if something does happen, God willing, I want to be able to bring that, you know, attention here, because there's a lot of hidden talent that I feel like needs to be, like, you know, discovered.
So when did you first start taking music seriously?
I started taking it more seriously when I went with my group in high school. I actually started off, you know, with this group. We call ourselves the Bleach Boys. It was just me and some homies that just got together after a class and just started, you know, recording. We started making beats, releasing, and, you know, we got decent feedback from it. And I started remembering I wanted to do it more serious towards the end of high school when, you know, college was coming up and everything. I really didn't want to do anything I wasn't really with, you know, not no 9 to 5. I knew I wanted to do something greater. I always felt like I was, you know, on, you know, no cocky shit or anything. I just really feel like I got to do it big, you know, or something of the sorts, you know, especially for my family back home.
Yeah. So what kind of goes into like your studio sessions? Like, what goes into your music? Do you like freestyle? Do you write or?
Me, like I said, when I say I'd like to do a little bit of everything, you know, it depends. If I'm cooking up like from the ground up, I usually turn on like, you know, my producer mindset to start, you know, coming up with like melodies and making the beat. After that's usually all done, then yeah, like I usually start. It depends. Sometimes if I really feel the beat, I'll just write then and there. But if I really feel like there's potential with it, then I will take like days to write sometimes.
So what would you describe your style of music as?
Ooh. Heartbreak and love. That's all I could describe about it, to be honest. I have a lot of like influence from, you know, a mix of artists. It's like from the beginning. I remember when I started making this like more melodic stuff and stuff that I was really like, I felt like was honest with me. I felt like a lot of my inspiration came from Lil Peep, you know. Back in the day, his type of like style was completely different and everything. I didn't go at it from a punk perspective or, you know, type of rock perspective like he did, but the way that he was projecting his voice, his melody was the one that got to me. And more recently, I've been inspired by a lot of West Coast, specifically like, you know, Blast, Bino Rideau, all those types of artists. I try to incorporate like their, I guess, like rhythm and groove into the beat because I don't know, there's something I can't like stop listening to that shit.
Yeah. So how was it when you worked with like azchike and them?
When I worked with azchike, hey, crazy workflow. I fuck with it though. It really inspired me to take it, you know, to try to put my work, you know, even as a producer and engineer into another level. You know, we went to a show mid recording and we came back to the studio and they knocked out the recording in like a couple, like, you know, under an hour almost. And that really like got to me of like I fuck with the way they work.
So how'd you guys kind of link up? How'd you meet them?
I linked up with Chike through Kilo, and through Kilo, that was through my manager, Reno. We managed to get a session in, and I engineered for him a couple of times, and yeah, it was a hell of dope vibes.
What was the show that you guys went to? Was it one of his performances?
Yeah, he performed over at someplace over in Dino. A couple other artists were there. I completely forgot who. You know, I was like fucked up that night, but it was a hella dope experience to witness.
Have you done any performances or not yet?
Yes, I actually have. My first performance ever is actually a couple blocks down from here at a bar, and I performed one time. My only like real serious show was I opened up for OGZ over in the Circle in OC a couple of years ago.
So what was the crowd's kind of experience when you came coming out with like? Were they hyped or?
Oh, it was dope. It was a hype show. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna lie. At the time in music, I was just like in a weird place. I forgot my lines on stage for one song, but overall the vibes were still dope. Everyone was still hype and everything. But
were you kind of nervous or like?
It was more or less nervous, bro. To be real, my homies changed the song that, you know, it was different from the one that I rehearsed. So they had like way more lines, and my lines were like in a different place in the song. So you know that caught me like off guard and. you know, around that time was when I was thinking, like, you know, I need to take it with more serious people, you know, because if you're going to change the song, I'd at least like to know. But it was just, you know, no love lost or anything, no hate. It was a good show.
So would you say it's important to have like a solid circle around you?
Definitely important. You can't do this on your own. Like, this music industry shit is definitely not like a single one-man type of job. Like, when people be saying, like, oh, I did this all on my own, or I did this, like, you know, maybe that's a rare occasion for some, but I really realize, you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, especially with getting into more, you know, serious territory and working with, like, industry artists. I really realize, like, there's a lot that goes on the scenes that you need around you. You need people behind your back, like, you know, not just to tell you whether a song is good or not, but people that look out for you, look out for your money and everything.
So what's one of your favorite songs that you've made?
Ooh, one of my favorite songs, to be honest, there's two of them. One of them was actually a school project when I went to LA recording school. Some of the people that I still work with them right now, they had us do this like songwriting project and everything. I remember coming up with the beat, like, you know, coming up with not the beat, but we all worked on the beat, we all worked on the song. But the idea to me that struck like immediately was like, this song I already know what to write about, you know. And the other song that I really fucked with that I made was probably my first release under, you know, when I started working with my manager and the rest of my team here in Bad Genre, Malibu. That was such a huge change from my old songs, and it was such a surprise to certain people. And like, even I look back and I think it's like compared to the shit I do and compared to the quality that I know I can accomplish now. But it was still like a milestone, and that like, all right, this is like a new direction.
So did they make you learn how to like read music over there or no?
Oh yeah, bro. I had to read sheet music and scoring and all that, and I had to do that on the DAW. And doing that, I didn't think you could ever fucking do that. It's good to know. Like I said, there's some stuff that I felt like was essential for me to know, like knowing the DAW and learning like, especially music theory. But certain other things that I think, I was like, all right, this is kind of just like information that I could just put to the side.
So would you say it's kind of important for an artist to know how to read music or not necessarily?
It depends. I would definitely say it's important for every artist to know music theory. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like, you know, you could come up with some crazy shit, but music theory is the one I really feel like would make your song, like, not just your song, but you as an artist, it would really make you, like, timeless in a way.
So if there's any artist you could work with, who would you choose?
Ooh. I got four. Blast, Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre.
You kind of like their like West Coast style from like Snoop and Dr. Dre?
Oh yeah, I grew up off of that. Like, when I was a kid, it was just me and my pops because my mom passed away a couple years ago. But like my adoptive parents. But I remember just being in the car a lot, going to my dad's work in LA and just listening to like 97.1, 102.7, like 103.5, like all of those like stations. And I just remember hearing a lot of West Coast, like Tupac. I know it's not West Coast, but they were playing like oldies like Biggie too. But the ones that stuck to me were like Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Dr. Dre.
What's some advice you would give to like upcoming artists?
Definitely stay persistent and keep learning. You know, you may be like, you know, everyone may be telling you like you're hot right now and it's like you're gonna do it, but don't let that get to your head. You know, you gotta stay with the workflow, stay persistent with it, and always get better. There's always something new to learn too.
So how often do you drop music?
To be honest, I'm pretty rare with it. I haven't dropped a song since last June, I think. I am working on an EP right now, though, on the come up. It's just that, for me, my issue with songwriting, I'm a perfectionist. There's a certain sound that I love, like, I feel like I could always make and everything, and I try to do my best to, like, create it. And I'm very selective with, like, you know, the songs that go on, the beats I make and everything, so that kind of, like, really plays into it. But recently, I've been really confident.
So other than the EP, anything else planned for the rest of the year?
To be honest, leading up to the EP, I am dropping some singles, and after the EP, I will have like singles like ready to go and everything. And it's just that I don't know. I don't really plan most of my stuff like that unless it's a project. If I, you know, hop on a song with someone or give someone a beat, like usually I don't really plan for that. It just kind of comes as it goes.
Yeah. All right then, man. Anything else you want to say to the people?
No, not really anything. Mostly just, you know, like stay frosty out there and everything. You know, stay up You know, always gotta be like safe and just pray to God.